The chairman tried not to show his disappointment and anger, and asked, "Why are you doing this?" Jinwoo looked up and happily answered his father right away. "I'm going to join the boss's group." Jinwoo was surrounded by reporters, and didn't know what to do. Why were these people here instead of taking pictures of Minsung Lee? He looked around to see if Minsung was nearby, but he only saw Yoonho and Jongin. Then he felt his leg buzz. He pulled his phone out of his pocket. Why was Gina calling him now? As soon as he answered, his sister spoke quickly. "Junwoo, you're on television." Of course he was there. Were so many cameras around. Every radio and television station was likely sharing the same news. Jinwoo had thought Gina called because there was a problem at school, so he was glad that wasn't it. "So what's going on?" "What do you mean? What's going on? You've awakened." An S rank. Gina was probably very surprised. But Jinwoo didn't have time to explain everything right now. "I'm a little busy, so I'll talk to you when I get home." "Wait." Jinwoo, he ended the call, even though his sister was begging him to stay on the line. Beep. Then he found out how he had gotten into this situation. He had a message. The Hunters Association sent out notifications using an app. Usually they sent warnings about very difficult dungeons, or when monsters escaped. But today was different. That was strange. Jinwoo read the message, and quickly checked the Hunter Association website. As he thought, the list of top hunters had been updated, even though his new rank was very recent. Jinwoo Sung. 7th rank. Mage. It said exactly what was on his hunter license. Why can't things always happen? This quickly, Jinwoo put his phone away and looked around. "Mr. Sung, are you the same?" Jinwoo Sung, who used to be a low-level hunter with the association. "You're one of the few people who have become much stronger. You've awakened to a new level. How do you feel about that?" The reporters tried to get him to talk on camera for as long as possible. Jinwoo didn't like all the attention. He wanted to leave. He didn't think the reporters would listen if he asked them nicely to let him through. He raised his eyebrow, wondering if he should call his shadow soldiers to make a path. "Hunter Sung. Over here. Hunter Sung, everyone in the country is watching. So smile." As the cameras came closer, Jinwoo quickly thought about calling Tank or Fang to help. Jongin noticed that Jinwoo was stuck because of the large group of reporters. He walked up to President Baek. "It seems my new trainee is struggling because of all the focus on him." "Who said Sung is your train?" "I was just kidding. Can't you laugh a little?" They stared at each other again, trying to see who would look away first. Jongin was the first to give up arguing. He sighed and went on. "Keeping Hunter Sung here much longer just gives other groups a chance to try and recruit him." President Baek agreed. Tajulim, the leader of the Reapers Guild, was already here because of Minsung, and the other two big groups would quickly try to contact Jinwoo. Baek looked at the reporters. "So what are you suggesting?" "I'm suggesting we take Hunter Sung home before others notice he's available. We can also talk to him while we're with him." Jongin was suggesting they work together to keep rivals away from Jinwoo. Even though Jinwoo is very strong, he will need to join a team to complete difficult levels. If they do things right, a top hunter could join either White Tiger or the Hunters today. Jongin, as the leader of the Hunters, was sure his team was good enough. Okay, Yoonho thought it was a good idea too. White Tiger wasn't as strong as the Hunters, but they were still getting better. Also, our manager En and Jingwoo had been friends for a long time. He thought his team had a good relationship with Jinwoo. They had agreed to a truce, so they looked at each other carefully as they walked toward Jinwoo. President Baek quickly called out to him. "Hunter Sung." Jinwoo looked around. Yes. Jongin was a little annoyed. Yoonho was speaking first, but he wanted to work together, so he stayed quiet. President Baek put on his friendliest smile. "Are you having trouble with all the reporters? Please come with us and we will take you home. We are very good at helping with problems like this." Both guild leaders had faced similar difficulties when they were top-ranked adventurers, and leading large groups taught them how to manage attention. Jongin agreed and joined them. "Yes, please come with us. We need to talk to you while we walk." Jinwoo nicely said no thanks. "That's okay," he said. He pulled his sweatshirt hood over his head. "I have to go somewhere else." "What did you say?" "How did you think we would leave with all these reporters?" Jongin didn't finish what he was saying. Quickly Jinwoo turned and jumped several meters over the reporters' heads, landing safely on the other side. What was that? The reporters were surprised and didn't know what to do. Then Jinwoo quickly moved into the crowd of people on the street, and disappeared. Jongin didn't know what to say. Even a very strong hunter like him didn't have much time to respond, so the reporters who were regular people definitely couldn't have reacted. Jongin chuckled. He had just become a top-level hunter, and already he felt like a superhero. For Jinwoo to be so physically strong while also being a mage hunter, Jongin, as another mage, had to admit he was a little envious. So what did the fighter do? Just a moment ago, Jongin turned to tell Yunho what they had seen, but he stepped back in surprise. Baek. Your eyes. He forgot to be polite and use President Baek's full name. Oh, I'm sorry. Yunho quickly covered his eyes and looked away. He blinked, and his eyes changed from wild and animal-like to normal. He was still shaken up though. How did that happen? He was trembling. When Jinwoo used energy to jump, for a very short time, his secret magical ability showed itself. It would usually be very hard for even skilled hunters to notice, but President Baek naturally used his special ability, Eyes of a Beast, to understand how strong Jinwoo was. He was very powerful. President Baek already knew Jinwoo was strong, but that wasn't the problem. Earlier, at the Red Gate, he had accidentally used Eyes of a Beast when he met Jinwoo, so he remembered how strong Jinwoo had been then too. The other man was very strong. Yunho didn't think he could win against Jinwoo without getting seriously hurt. Jinwoo was the kind of fighter Yunho knew he couldn't beat, unless he risked a major injury. Yunho noticed something different about the magical energy he felt from Jinwoo. Jinwoo's power was much greater than it had been before. It seemed Jinwoo had become much stronger, and this change likely happened a while ago. So how had his abilities grown? A strange idea came to him. Could he actually make his powers stronger? Maybe instead of gaining powers a second time, he had somehow practiced and improved. He was thinking about this when someone spoke to him. Mr. Baek, are you alright? You don't look well, Jongin said, worried. Yunho rubbed his face with both hands and shook his head. I felt a little dizzy just now. I'm okay now. You're still young. You need to take care of yourself. While Jongin was talking, Yunho kept looking in the direction Jinwoo had gone. He is already much stronger than a normal Sarank. But if he became even stronger, Yunho felt a chill thinking about it. Taxi. Jinwoo managed to get away from the reporters and found a cab on a quiet street. He held his Sarank hunter's license, happy to finally have it. Getting stronger and exploring dungeons was fun. But the most important thing now was helping his mother get better. The elixir of life, he wasn't sure if it could really cure her, but even if there was only a small chance, like 1 in 1,000 or even 1 in 10,000, he wanted to finish the demon's castle and find all the ingredients as quickly as possible. To do this, Jinwoo needed something to keep him safe from the heat. He told the driver where to go. Please take me to the Hunter's Auction House of Korea. The driver looked at Jinwoo in the mirror and smiled. Are you going there to sell something valuable? I overheard them talking about things worth a lot of money, at least several million won. Jinwoo smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. The driver swallowed hard. His passenger was going to the auction house, which meant he was likely a hunter, and you always had to be careful around people like that. Some hunters were very unusual and strong, and it was best not to make them angry. This young man doesn't seem like he would cause problems, but it's always better to be careful. The driver could tell how Jinwoo was feeling, and decided to stay quiet, so the taxi ride was silent. Jinwoo used the time to look on the internet. Everyone was talking about the new top-level hunter. Before today, Minsung Lee was the most popular topic online, but now his name wasn't even in the top 10. Jinwoo clicked his tongue. He wasn't expecting this much attention. He knew people would be interested in him, but he didn't think it would cause such a big reaction. There were only 10 hunters like him ever in Korea, with one gone and another one out of the country. There were only 8 others like him in the whole nation, so it made sense that everyone was talking about him. But why hadn't people been talking about Haein? He hoped he might be safe for a little while, because Haein, the 9th strongest hunter, hadn't gotten much attention from the news. He looked into it, and discovered she had asked the organization to keep her details private, after she became a top-ranked hunter. If I had done that too, the news and hunter groups wouldn't have learned about me. Why hadn't the president told Jinwoo about this helpful choice? Oh, that's right, now I understand. Jinwoo remembered what President Go had asked as they walked to the testing room. Do you have a guild you want to join? Not yet. Jinwoo had answered. Was that why President Go had asked? Maybe he wanted to know so guilds could find Jinwoo. Jinwoo submitted a request online to keep his information private, and then he called the auction house. This is the Hunter's Auction House of Korea. I would like to have an artifact examined. I am coming now. If that is all right. Yes, sir. What kind of item would you like us to examine? It is a ball that makes magic stronger. Oh, a magic ball that increases power. It sounds like someone already looked at it if you know what it does. Yes, but they were not experts. So I would like our auction house to give its opinion. Haha. You made a good decision. We are known to be the best at what we do. The conversation stopped for a moment while the other person wrote some things down. How much stronger did the item become according to the last check? It became twice as strong. What? It makes magic twice as powerful. There was another pause. I'm sorry, sir. But are you someone who hunts magical creatures? Yes, we need your information for the official check of the item. May I have your rank and name, please? Jinwoo smiled a little. He had guessed this would happen. If he had said he was a low-level hunter, would anyone at the hunter's auction house even listen to him? That's why he asked them to check his rank again. He answered calmly, Soyu's rank. Jinwoo sung. Jinwoo went to the auction house. The building wasn't very tall, but it was wide. It looked more like a museum or art gallery than a store. The parking lot was very large, and could hold many people, maybe over 100 or even 1,000. It was clear the hunter's auction house earned a lot of money from fees. When Jinwoo stepped out of the taxi and walked toward the entrance, a man in a nice suit rushed out to meet him. Are you Hunter Jinwoo sung? Yes, I am. The man seemed surprised when he looked at Jinwoo's face. Then he remembered where he was and greeted Jinwoo with a cheerful voice. We talked on the phone. My name is Junggi Kim and I work with the appraisal team. Please come with me. Jinwoo nodded quickly. Many thoughts raced through Junggi's mind as he led Jinwoo to the appraisal room. He couldn't believe the new top-level hunter who disappeared in front of all the reporters was walking right behind him. At first he thought Jinwoo's phone call was a joke. First, what the item didn't seem possible. Second, he said he was the top-level hunter who had just been announced. I almost said something rude to a top-level hunter. He felt a chill when the Hunters Association checked Jinwoo's phone number. He was very glad he had followed the rules and hadn't been disrespectful. Hunter Jinwoo Sung had just been registered as a top-level hunter, quickly rising from a very low rank through a special event. He quickly moved up 5 levels and was now officially a mage. TVs all around the auction house were still showing Jinwoo's face. This bothered him, so he pulled his hood down lower. Even though it wasn't really him on TV, Junggi couldn't help feeling proud. Should he ask for a picture with him? He shook his head, deciding against it. If he wasn't working, he would have asked for a photo or signature. But it wouldn't be polite to interrupt someone who was busy with important work to ask for something like that. He needed to stay professional. Are we here already? They had arrived at the room where things were being valued while Junggi was thinking. He seemed a little disappointed. Follow me. In a large room, the team leader and the main appraiser had waited for Jinwoo. Even giving up their lunch break, the team leader's eyes grew wide when he saw the top hunter. Is that really the man we saw on the news? The main appraiser tried to calm his nerves. Could the sphere that makes magic stronger really be? No, he wasn't sure yet. Even if a person was real, that didn't always mean what they owned was real too. The main appraiser kept telling himself this to try and stay calm. Even the best artists and builders, working hard to create a very powerful magical item with the finest materials, could only make something that worked about half the time. This project would take many years to collect everything needed, and involve a lot of people. People who hunt magic users all over the world would want to buy something like this, so it wasn't because nobody wanted it. Even in Korea, Jongin Choi, a powerful hunter, was looking for a special item that could make magic stronger by more than 50%. Then a new hunter appeared with an item that could make magic twice as strong. It seemed unbelievable. It was such an amazing story that they might have kicked Jinwoo out if he wasn't already a highly ranked hunter. They couldn't ignore a top-level hunter. Even if this turned out to be a mistake, he could become a valuable customer for many years. They didn't have much to lose. The chief appraiser spoke to Jinwoo, looking both unsure and hopeful. Could you show me the item, please? Junggi and the manager also looked at Jinwoo with anticipation. Sure, Jinwoo said. He brought out the sphere of avarice, pretending to take it from his pocket. So this is the chief appraiser adjusted his glasses. It was a beautiful blood-red sphere that caught people's attention. Chungi and the manager quietly admired it. The chief appraiser tilted his head and moved his glasses. Is this made from a special energy or a magical stone? That's right. The chief appraiser nodded. He knew it. He had worked in this job for 7 years. He had looked at many old objects, but this was the first time he'd seen a red spheres. Spheres were usually a light blue, and the better the quality, the darker they became. But a red one. The main appraiser was still puzzled as he picked up the sphere. Holding it in his hands now, what was this? A shiver went down his spine as he felt a strange power coming from the sphere. He couldn't believe it. He was very surprised as he looked closely at the object. The most experienced appraiser was a powerful mage. He instantly knew what the object was. He suddenly felt very cold and started to sweat. Oh my goodness! The energy coming from the sphere made him nervous, and he looked up to see Jinwoo watching him calmly. He wished he was a lower-level hunter. He felt something he had never experienced before. People often brought things for him to look at, but this was the first time he ever felt like he wanted to hurt the person and take their things. But this customer was very powerful. Jinwoo looked quietly at the main appraiser, who was trying hard not to show how worried he was. Rob someone so strong. Jinwoo was so amazing that the appraiser could barely even think about trying it. Jinwoo tilted his head and watched the appraiser closely. What was wrong with him? Was he not feeling well? The appraiser wiped his forehead and spoke to the manager. Please turn on the camera. Oh yes, of course. Turning on the camera meant what the appraiser held was genuine. Both the manager and Jungi were eager to see the results. Action. The manager pointed the camera at the appraiser who stood before a round manometer. He put the ball on the machine. Beep. A number appeared. The person checking the ball held it and measured it again. The number quickly became twice as big. Beep. Jungi looked very pale when he saw the number. Amazing. The manager quickly moved closer to see the result. Was it 100%? This magical sphere really makes magic power twice as strong. Usually the auction house gets a 5% fee for each item they sell. If something sells for 100 billion won, they would make 5 billion won. But even though he's worked there a long time, the manager had no idea how much this red sphere was worth. We are going to have a lot of money. I'm sure of it. If they had been alone, he would have shouted with happiness and hugged everyone who worked there. How much money would they earn if this deal worked out? He felt very excited, and it was hard to catch his breath. Jungi reacted the same way. He happily raised his fist in the air. Yes, if everything went as planned, he would definitely get a promotion. I'm going to examine the sphere now. The appraiser could hardly speak, his voice trembling. The two men on the appraisal team stepped back. Jinwoo did the same thing. The camera kept recording. Showing a video was much better than just showing numbers on paper when trying to convince people to buy something. The appraiser looked directly at the camera. Let's start. A swirl of snow, about as big as a car tire, moved around the appraiser's right hand. I will now touch the special ball while still using magic. As soon as his left hand touched the sphere of avarice whoosh, the swirling snowflakes became a strong blizzard that shook the whole room. Wow, if the surprised appraiser hadn't stopped his magic right then, the entire room would have been covered in ice. Please turn off the camera. Okay. The team manager quickly ran to turn off the camera, nodding as he did. The evaluation of the item was finished. That was a relief. Jinwoo had been worried when the snowstorm appeared from the appraiser's hand, but he could relax now. Jinwoo wasn't the only one who felt better. Everyone breathed out slowly to calm down. For a moment, the room was quiet. Then Jinwoo spoke and broke the silence. So how much is the sphere worth? Would he be able to buy the things he needed? He was excited about getting new items, but he really wanted to know how much the sphere was worth. The appraiser looked at the sphere of avarice with surprise. How can I say how much this is worth? He looked at Jinwoo. He swallowed hard. Where did Jinwoo find something like this? It wasn't about checking its value, but he was really curious. Where did you get this? Jinwoo asked Jungi. Not the appraiser. Do I have to know to make this trade? Jungi just shrugged and looked away. Seeming uncomfortable, the appraiser shook his head, meaning it wasn't important for the deal. No, that's not it. I was just surprised. Everyone will wonder when they learn about this magical sphere. Of course the other two men looked really curious too. I guess it doesn't matter now. There wasn't any reason not to tell them. He hadn't gotten it by cheating, or in a way that others could easily get one, even if he told them how. Jinwoo slowly began to speak. Everyone waited anxiously to hear his words. Jinwoo smiled and said, I found it inside a dangerous place. President Baek quickly walked into his office, calling for his assistant. I want to be alone, please. No one should come in. He even locked the door before he turned on his computer. He started looking for information using the special access he had as a very skilled hunter, and the leader of a group. Could it really be true? He kept thinking about Jinwoo. It seemed unbelievable that a hunter could get stronger on their own. But how else could you explain the change in Jinwoo's power? President Baek typed quickly on his computer, searching for information about the strongest hunters in the world. It didn't help. There was nothing. No hunter had ever been able to increase their own abilities before.